Hey, Linda. All right, I'm gonna make you host. Hello.
Hi, Grace.
All right, you're a host now.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. All
Enjoy
right,
this beautiful day.
I am. Thank you. All right,
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Hello.
Joanne.
What a warm day.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. I know. I know.
Oh,
Really warm. Yes. Yes. I
our
have
frogs are out.
I have a sweater on now because after I came in from working out in the yard, I was so hot. Then I took a shower and then,
Mm,
I felt cooler. So
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
really need it on now. But
Our frogs are out chirping outside the door here.
oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I hear them when I walk down on Schoolhouse Road. There's a place where they're
hmm
just like so loud.
hmm Yeah, we had visitors from Cambridge come this last weekend, and they thought it was a machine outside.
Isn't that
They
interesting?
what is that noise? Is that some kind of machine? No, it's frogs.
It's really interesting what happens when people who live in more urban environments come, isn't it?
hmm
I've had people
Yeah.
exclaim about how dark it is and aren't you scared?
Right. How quiet it is at night.
Quiet and
Yeah,
then
it's so quiet. It's so quiet.
yeah,
No traffic noise, no
yeah,
ambulances or police sirens or anything like that.
yeah. We had a young man come to visit with his family once, and I guess he was probably about 17, and that's what he said to me. He said, it's so dark.
Yeah.
And aren't you afraid to go out at night? And I thought,
Yes.
I'd be more uncomfortable where you live.
Yeah,
I said,
exactly.
I don't really think about it. I go out, you
Mhm.
know, I don't worry.
Right.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so far it's you and I. Um,
Right.
I
Were there
suspect
any were there any responses from anyone else?
I looked at the email. Let me just double check. I looked. Yeah, no,
Because you said several times 4:30.
I did. Yes. Yes, I did. As
Mhm.
many times as I thought was reasonable.
Right.
Susan, said that if she is back and has the energy, she'll come, but
Mhm.
she'll have
Okay.
had a long, a, a long, a long 3 days.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So, well, we'll see what happens. We
I
can't do.
guess.
Oh, here comes somebody
Okay,
on an iPhone.
iPhone.
Don't know who that is. Hi, we can see someone's here on an, oh,
Hi.
there it is. It's
Ah,
Martha.
Martha.
Okay.
Hi.
Yay.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
That's all right. I'm trying to get my iPad to, I was downloading my email. I don't know why. So how are you all?
All right. Happy about the sunshine.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Crazy,
We
crazy
were just
warm.
talking, I was saying our frogs are outside chirping away right now, which is great.
Right. Yep. First sign of spring for me, the peepers. They started
Yes.
like last week.
Ooh,
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's hard to imagine, what it was like here a month ago.
Right.
It's just,
Mhm.
it's,
Cold and snowy.
yeah. I mean, what the big storm was, what, on the 15th of March? I mean, it's just,
Hmm.
here comes,
That was just a month away. Yeah.
I don't know who.
Confusion?
I don't know who.
Who's confusion?
That's Jeanette.
Is that Jeanette?
Okay.
So I'm gonna hop on again and I'm sure we'll
Okay.
get feedback, but my iPad
Okay.
is much better.
Hi, Jeanette.
Hey. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
Martha's going out and coming in again.
Okay. Yeah, there's two Marthas.
Yes.
Amazing how wonderful the world would be with two Marthas. Even more wonderful. Mm.
So the only person we don't have yet is
Janice.
Janice.
Mhm.
But once Martha's fully back,
Is this Janice's treatment day? I thought maybe
her
Wednesday
routine,
was.
her routine has changed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think Martha, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
All right.
Well, since there's four of us, we'll go ahead and call ourselves to order. The first at 4:35 p.m. The first thing that we need to do, though, is establish if either Jeanette or Martha would be willing to take some basic minutes for our meeting. Because Susan is away with her family.
Yeah, I'll take minutes.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we called ourselves to order at 4:35, and just, Martha, just, say something if you need us to repeat or stop or something, okay?
Okay.
So based on the new just based on our refresher course from Grace, town clerk, about remote meetings, as you all know from the email that I forwarded, that remote and hybrid meetings can legally continue until March 31st of 2025. And in the spirit of that, then we will announce that everyone attending tonight, which is myself, Linda Ava Scott, Joanne Bernhard, Jeanette Stockton, and Martha Favre, are all attending remotely. And anyone else that joins will be attending remotely.
Mhm.
So we've been asked as chairpersons to announce who's remote. And since this is only a remote meeting,
It's everyone.
it's everyone. Yeah. And so I also just want to appreciate that everyone's willingness to meet early. And that we do need to be done by 10 minutes to 6 at the latest, because the Community Preservation Committee needs this slot at 6 o'clock.
Mm.
So I think that's it for starting the meeting, and then
Mhm. So we have then the minutes, I believe, that that Susan sent around with a few corrections. Did anyone have comments?
So I'll make a motion that we approve the 3/8/23 meeting minutes.
Okay, and I'll second.
And so Jeanette?
No, I'm just checking who's going first.
Oh,
Which
okay.
way is the
No,
roll
okay.
call?
Well,
I am
I-
B.
I have
B,
one,
Bernhardt.
I have one correction that I noticed today that didn't get picked up before, and I'll let
Oh.
Susan know about it. And that is that in the section where she lists all the financials, and then she said future fitness class, she meant to say future foot clinic, because it was the amount for the foot clinic. So so we could then make
Approve.
the motion to approve as amended.
Mhm.
You
Okay, do you do that, or who does that?
Yes.
Do
So
I?
we'll in light of the need for we'll say that there's a friendly amendment to change that section from future fitness class to future foot clinic costs.
Okay,
And then so we can,
oh, okay, so I will second the changed amendment. I'm
yes, so
sorry,
we'll motion
amendment?
to approve the minutes as amended. Yeah.
Okay, as
Change the
amended,
motion,
right.
yeah.
Okay, so roll call vote. Bernhardt, aye.
Favre, I.
Scott, I.
And Stockton, I.
Okay, we got it now.
Yeah, our alphabetical order.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we haven't got Janice, so
She and I
And
did
did you
the survey.
yeah, yeah.
Is there a financial update first, just to get
Oh,
that out of
yes.
the way?
Oh, so sorry. Yes. Yes. And I think I already gave, a little update on, I put town clerk's update regarding open meeting law. So you all received the email, and you have a chance to, if you need to, there's a list of trainings there being offered by the Attorney General's office. So if you want to update yourselves, you can. Okay, financial update. All right, so. Ready, Martha? Okay, so we had at the as of our last meeting, $4,349.43. During the month of March, we paid $1,000, the $1,000 that we allocated for March fitness classes. So that's been expended, not March, excuse me. Third quarter fitness classes. We had allocated that, and that was paid. And March foot clinic was $190. So that leaves a balance of subtracting those two costs results in $3,159.43. Now, the estimated amount for fourth quarter foot clinic is $547.50.
Okay, I'm zooming with the COA now.
Oh,
You need to be.
and then, so that leaves a
quiet.
balance of unallocated funds of $2,611.09 93 cents. So that's what we have for, the whatever we might do during the fourth quarter of the fiscal year. Which,
And
Jeanette,
just a clarification, when does our fiscal year end?
June 30th.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's what we have, and you all, it's been a while since I sent around the request from Mary Ann for fourth quarter fitness class funding.
Mhm.
I could, if you're up for it, I'll just review it. Would that be helpful? Okay,
Mhm.
so.
This is,
um,
pardon me, this is a request for fourth quarter, right?
Yes, this is a request from Mary Ann Antonellis, Library Director, for assistance with funding fourth quarter fitness classes. So,
Jeanette,
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry. And at the end of June, our coffers will be refilled from whatever magical place they come from.
yes, so
Um,
our new fiscal year begins July 1, and we will anticipate an infusion from EOEA of, is it $7,000?
7,300.
Yes, that's what we received last year, and so that's what we anticipate
Mhm.
receiving. And it doesn't come in, like right away, but we act as if the funds are there because our town accountant knows that they will come. So we may go in a negative, but we know that that's what we operate on, if that makes sense. Does that make?
Yeah, no, it
Sometimes-
totally makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm only asking this because I know that our treasurer pretend I'm not from Village Neighbors. But our treasurer from Village Neighbors is, I think, about to do the yearly ask. He's
Mhm.
drafted a letter. So, I don't know if that would be coming out of this little
No.
pot that's left.
Right, no, thank you
Mhm.
for, that's a good
Mhm.
question. We often start to receive like renewal notices, like from Village Neighbors asking for funds, or MCOA dues, annual dues. Those will come in before the end of the fiscal year, but we cannot pay them until the beginning after July 1.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes, because we already made our our contribution to Village Neighbors that we made
From last year.
from
Whether
FY
whatever-
23. Yeah.
Right, whatever year it is. Everyone has different fiscal years, so it's
Yes.
just, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Jeanette is back. Jeanette from the COA is back.
Okay. 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 So, all right, here it is. And so, Martha, you'll have this email to look back on if you don't get all of this, down. So it's 12 strength classes with Kathy for $780. 13 classes yoga with Jeanette, $520. 11 yoga with Kathy, $715. And 12 strength with Jay, $780. For a total of $2,795. And she's asking if we would be able to contribute.
Mhm. Which is what we did for the third quarter, I believe.
Yes. we
Instead of picking a class to fund, or
Right.
picking one or more classes to fund, she said, we could just contribute an amount and she would manage the billing
Yes.
for that.
Yes.
Right. And so last quarter I believe we gave $1,000 last
Yes.
quarter.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
I feel like I want to call, I feel like I want to check in with Janice. If you all don't mind, I'm going to, if that's okay, I'm going to mute myself and call Janice. You can go ahead and talk, but I just want.
Mhm.
Right, make sure that she remembers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if there's like,
Um,
there's another Gazette billing for another Gazette coming.
I don't
and
know
like
if there's
that.
another Gazette coming or not. Because we're gonna try and get something in the Our Town. And that deadline to get it to Janice is the 21st, which is next Friday. So we need to, I think it might be better to send a Gazette maybe end of summer, beginning of September or something like that. Because I don't know that we have that much new information to send to people now. Has anyone had feedback from people about the last issue that we sent out?
I've heard from
Like, oh, that was really great. Lots of good information, or eh.
I've heard from a couple of people in town that they thought it was very helpful. That, you know, there was a lot of good information.
Oh, good.
These were the same people that had commented that why weren't there interviews of the you know, the police chief before in the town newspaper, and we caught it this time in this one, and just the information in terms of SNAP. So
Okay.
yep. So
Well, we may want, I maybe we shouldn't decide that right now, because all this transportation information is coming, and that may be very relevant to a lot of people. Linda,
Yes,
did you get Janice?
no, I left her a message,
Okay, okay,
so I don't know.
okay.
Yeah.
So
So I
can
missed,
we,
go ahead.
shall we go back to the information about the library classes, and can we make a determination on funding?
Of course we can. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I missed whatever was being said while I was on the phone.
we were talking about whether or not there would be another Gazette
Mm,
this before the end of the fiscal year.
yeah, and
Okay,
probably not based on the fact of, I think I heard you say that there's an Our Town coming out. and-
there's an Our Town coming out, right? Okay, so I would like to suggest that we give $1,000 to Mary Ann for fitness classes. That's a suggestion, not
Well, you could
What is
make a motion, we could make a motion and then.
a
we-
motion. That's the word. Okay, I move that we give that this Council on Aging provide $1,000 for fitness classes for the library.
I second that motion.
Okay.
Stockton.
Any discussion?
Okay, roll call. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call vote. Bernhard, aye.
Barbara, I
Scott, I.
Stockton, I.
Okay. Yes, okay, so I will, I'll let Mary Ann know. To write myself a note. Okay,
So did we have any other old business or
Martha?
can I ask a
Before-
question? So
Martha.
I have a question just in terms of our budget. So we would offer the library $1,000 for the last quarter. And if we recognize that, you know, 2 months, a quarter being 3 months. So 2 months down the road, we have a balance that we're not going to spend. At that point, can we make a decision to provide more funding to the library and so that they would get it before the end of the fiscal year? How does that work?
We can do that, but we can also carry over our balance. We don't have to use it all.
Oh, we can. Okay. All
Yes,
right.
yes. So if we had, you know, $600 or whatever, just an example,
Mhm.
we would just carry that over.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, we used to have to, in the past, it was different. I mean, we would carry over our amount, but the next fiscal year's grant would deduct whatever we had, whatever our balance was at the end of the prior fiscal year, but that's no longer the case.
Mhm.
Okay.
We can- yeah.
Can I ask one more question? So the funding, the $7,300 that we get, does that come from just the town? I mean, how, we also
Oh.
just records, we get the
No,
money.
that comes from the
From the-
Executive Office of Elder Affairs.
Okay, great,
Yes,
thanks.
we do have a $200 expense line from the town. So
Mhm.
actually, we forget about the fact that we have that $200. So that is money that we can use as well.
Mhm.
That- 'cause
Okay.
if we don't use that money, that just goes back. It goes back
Okay.
into the general fund to be reallocated into something the next year. We don't get to keep that and accrue any balance there.
Mhm.
So one more question, just for clarity, so I understand. So if we have do we have to earmark that's the 200 from town when it's spent?
Yes, so whenever we have something that we pay for,
Mhm.
there's forms that we fill out to go with the invoice, and there's each line item in the town, like if each line item, expense line has a number and
Okay.
attached to that. So when we fill out the paperwork, which we call a warrant, it tells the accountant what line to take that money from.
Gotcha, yep.
Okay, so
Object codes,
that's how
yep.
that moves. I just have to check. I may have, nope. I received a text. I thought maybe it was from Janice, but no. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
It's all right. Okay,
Okay,
Okay. So may I give a summary of the transportation things that are going on
Yes,
before we get
please.
to the survey?
yes.
Okay. So you all know about the Life Path survey that went out. And from that, there were different committees or groups formed to discuss different issues that came up. And one of them was the transportation group. And that was the one I was on, along with Elizabeth Fernandez O'Brien from Village Neighbors, Megan Rhodes, who is from FERCog. Do you guys know what FERCog is?
no,
Franklin County Regional Franklin Regional County of Governments. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And two people from Life Path who were involved in the Rides for Health program that they have, and one other woman from Buckland who was representing her Council on Aging. So we were tasked with reading over the report, the data, and the comments from the Life Path survey, and coming up with problem statements. This was not difficult because the problem statement actually, which I sent around, I think I emailed you all a copy of that, was it ended up being that there's a severe lack of alternate transportation or affordable transportation in Franklin County outside the town of Greenfield. And so that was the end of the Life Path group work that happened. After that, we were asked to do our own data, which I think I also sent you an Excel sheet of that. And Linda and I went into town hall and went back through the records of the MedRide programs, the COA MedRide programs back to 2007, Linda, when pretty far back. Or was it it was pre-pandemic?
2013, we started.
2013. Okay, so we had, and then we stopped at 2020, I think.
Right, our last is.
When the pandemic started, we stopped the MedRide program.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
last full year we
And-
had was 2019 for statistics. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So during that period of time, we had about 400 rides. 50 of them went to Greenfield or to Franklin County. and 350 of them went to Amherst and Northampton or Hampshire County. So in looking at what we wanted to do to provide transportation for Shutesbury, the question which was posited when Becky Torres joined our meeting was, do we ask FRTA for their on-demand response program, or do we ask PBTA? Becky was working under the older assumption that you could only do one or the other. In the meantime, it has been changed so that you can actually do both. You can do FRTA and you can do PBTA. Okay. So in looking at the offerings of FRTA, Franklin County Regional Transit Authority, they have a number of programs, very few of which are going to meet the needs of people in Shutesbury. The on-demand response program is a program where people call in and ask for a ride from their home to wherever they need to go. Mostly, it doesn't have to be medical, but it's usually medical. The on-demand response program uses a van that is handicapped accessible, so they have a wheelchair lift. The town has to okay this program. We have to go to the town administrator and the select board and ask them to ask FRTA to join that program. Okay. And I believe there's something stuck in my mind that it already went that far. It already went to the select board, but they wanted to know how much it was going to cost. And the problem is FRTA bills by the ride. So we don't know the number of rides that would happen in a given year. And we don't know what the cost would be because FRTA is still costing out the per mile cost that would be charged for each rider. And we don't know that yet. So we don't know the number of riders and we don't know the cost per rider.
Right.
This is billed a year after. So the whole first year, there isn't a bill until they get to the end of that year and tabulate it backwards. So in the second year, you're paying for the first year, and in the third year, you're paying for the second year. So there's no way to tell the select board how much it's going to cost because you won't know that until a year later. And I think that's where things got stuck. Does anyone remember that, Jeanette?
I definitely remember that, but also there's also this strange calculation that it comes out of our, like, we just don't get quite as much state funding or something. We don't actually pay for it.
There's
Well,
some
the questions.
cherry sheet something, right? But the other piece, like you said, regarding, the select board asked for the statistics. That was the other piece that they wanted, which that was, I mean,
Okay.
we did that
Yeah.
for us, but we also did it because Becky specifically asked for the statistics that the select board wanted to see the numbers that
Okay.
we got from MedRide. So just to put that
And-
piece in.
And that's FRTA.
That's I'm talking about FRTA.
Right.
Okay. So other programs that FRTA offers, there is a MedRide program, but it only takes people out to appointments outside of Franklin County. So if someone in Shutesbury wanted a ride to Amherst, the FRTA MedRide program could accommodate that. But if someone wanted a MedRide within Franklin County, they wouldn't. Okay, yeah, shake your head. The problem with that, according to, I'm sorry, I need to back up for a minute. Elizabeth Fernandez O'Brien set up a meeting with the head of FRTA and the head of PVTA and Megan Rhodes from FERCOG. The problem with the MedRide program from FRTA is that they only have 2 drivers.
Oh,
And aren't they volunteer?
yes,
They're volunteer.
yes, yeah.
They're volunteer drivers and they only have 2.
I didn't realize that.
Okay, that's where things are right now with that program. Life Path has a Rides for Health program, which is also volunteer drivers, but people have to have been accepted to the home care program by Life Path. Okay, so that's the same thing. The on-demand response program does have the van that is handicapped accessible, and that's the program that we probably would be targeting to join. FRTA also has a program called Access Program, which is just in very early stages, and it seems like anybody can ask for anything, but they also said they don't have the vans and they don't have the drivers for the vans to service the program.
So you can ask, but you probably won't
You
get
can
it.
you can ask, but it may not happen.
Would you say that part again, if I understand right, FRTA, if we were part of the on-demand response program, they wouldn't have they wouldn't have the infrastructure to service us? Is that what you said?
They wouldn't have the infrastructure to service any of these programs, as far as I can see.
Oh, but
The on-demand response program is the handicapped accessible van where they would come. So the van would come, you make an appointment for the van to come pick you up, but the van driver cannot help you from the door,
Right.
door of your house into the van. So if you need assistance, which if you're wheelchair bound, you would need a care person to come with you, then that person would have to accompany you.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. So,
Got
and
it.
then they can't help you on the return, and then you have to book the return trip separately. So it's not a thing where they would pick you up, take you to an appointment and wait for you.
Right.
You would have to book the return trip separately. And the same thing would apply. You would need a care person with you if you needed help to get off the van and get to your house. Okay. So this is, I'm just talking about FRTA right now. Okay. So, I think those are the options, and the few of the, what was it, 7 years, Linda? In 7 years, we only had 50 people going to Franklin County. So we don't have a lot of.
Right, a total of 43 rides to Franklin County.
Okay, so we don't have a lot of people going north,
7 years.
according to our
Right,
statistics.
In 7 years, we did
Yeah.
43 rides to Franklin
Okay.
versus, as you said, 150 to Hampshire.
Yeah. Okay. So the PVTA program was not on their website, was not very specific. The PVTA would have to be asked by the town of Shutesbury to consider coming to Shutesbury. It is a successful program in Leverett, the PVTA, because Leverett kind of got grandfathered in because PVTA runs a bus route up Route 63, which is in Leverett. And because of that, the Leverett can use the PVTA on-demand response program, which they do. Okay. But Shutesbury would have to ask PVTA if we could join the on-demand response program, if they would even come to Shutesbury, because we're in Franklin County. So, and this is an issue, all of these things have to happen town by town. So Shutesbury would have to request the on-demand response program from FRTA and request PVTA to consider coming to Shutesbury. And Martha, I know this is there's a lot. I can fill you in on anything that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think if I can just write all this stuff up and just send it to you, and you can say, you missed this, you missed that. But,
Okay.
we've been over this a few times. So
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
crazy. Hopefully,
It's crazy. And I don't know if I'm correct, but I feel like Elizabeth was talking about when there was this meeting, there was talk that there would almost start to be like connections between the one van that had to stop at the county line and then the other van would come and pick the people up. And it's just like, what?
Well,
Yeah.
that would be a very welcome thing, but unfortunately, I don't think either one has the capacity to do that. And then
No.
there's a timing issue, you
Right,
know?
Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
imagine the stress on the individual.
Especially if they're in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
Mhm.
if they even
Or-
could be in a wheelchair.
Or anybody going to an appointment, not knowing the timing, the stress and yeah. Yeah, no.
Mhm. Right, and so,
Wow.
the issue for Village Neighbors, as I understand it, is that Village Neighbors is representing 4 towns. But these arrangements have to be made town by town, so Village Neighbors can't make an arrangement for all 4 towns. The town, Shutesbury has to do it, Leverett has to do it, Wendell has to do it, New Salem has to do it. Okay. I do know from Nancy Spittle and Wendell that they do use the FRTA on-demand response program. Okay, which apparent, I don't have any statistics from her. Maybe you do for Village Neighbors. I don't know.
It is accessible. I wouldn't be able to tell you how many times it's been utilized, but people, it's
Okay.
there to use if people choose to use it. And I think
Right.
like we were kind of the one that didn't have anything really at this time. So that's how this whole thing started, because they were like, well, Shutesbury doesn't really have anything. But
Right.
Right.
Leverett has some access. Wendell has some access. I believe New
Mhm.
Salem does, but Shutesbury doesn't.
Right.
New Salem doesn't.
No?
No. No, I have a friend on the COA in New Salem. And I
Okay.
asked that question, so they don't. And I have some statistics that Elizabeth sent from Village Neighbors, but it was totals of the 4 towns, so I don't know what the breakdown was specifically for Shutesbury.
For just
Okay.
driving.
For just driving, yeah. Okay, so that's kind of, I think that's it. If anyone has any other questions about what's out there and available or what could be available to us. I think the next step is our survey to figure out what Shutesbury residents want and need. And then we can take that to the select board with all this other information and see what comes of it. Does that sound reasonable?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
The other thing that Elizabeth and I talked about after this meeting was that she said Village Neighbors was going to be asking questions about transportation. And I said, why don't we use the same survey? So we get the same data. Because what she said was she was just going to ask people, do people need transportation? And I think the survey that Martha and was it Janice? Martha and Janice did was much more detailed than that. So it would give better data.
we also need it specific just for this town.
Yes,
Right.
right. We need for our town, yes.
Right.
I just want to appreciate you, Joanne, for compiling all of the information and presenting it very clearly in its complexity and the time that you've committed to, going to meetings and bringing this all back to us, because no small feat.
Yes,
Well-
absolutely. And I want to apologize because I think I started it all. I started you on this rough road of investigation.
No, not at all. It's something we had talked about, before, well before this.
Good.
Yeah. So, and it's something we need.
Yeah.
Right.
And especially as our, our elderly population has doubled, so we need this. We need these services. How to get them, what the best way is to go forward is a little complicated.
Mhm.
A little.
Yeah.
And also, that a couple more questions arise. One is, the person who is the head of FRTA said, you know, they get their funding from a lot of different sources. So in order to fund a van, they have state funding, county funding, and there were three. What's the other one?
Municipal.
Grant funding, I think. So they don't know those numbers yet because the state budget hasn't come in. You know, so they have to wait and find out what their funding is going to be, and then they have to determine what the cost is going to be for them to run the vans. You know, and all that depends on the state budget.
Yeah, wow. Wow.
So I think we're looking at a year out if we can get this together. There also was a talk of a community transit grant application, which we would also, the deadline would be too soon for us to do that, but we could apply for it. And that might be something better for a consortium to apply for.
Mm-hmm.
Who would apply? Would that be Council on Aging?
Council on Aging could apply for Shutesbury.
Mm-hmm.
Or Village Neighbors could apply for the four towns.
Mm-hmm.
But we would need to connect with FRTA to understand what the application procedure was, what the best way forward would be, you know, all of that. But there's time for that because we would be looking at a year from now.
Okay. And our survey will help
Mhm.
with the data.
Right. Right.
Just a quick question about the survey. Will it only be going out to people over 60 or will it be to the entire town?
The entire town.
Okay, so like Tracy
well-
McNaughton's people.
I shouldn't.
Well, the idea is that it would be going in the upcoming issue of our town, so it would go to everybody in town.
Mhm.
Okay.
So everybody would have a chance to respond. But
Mhm. And you know, Elizabeth and I were also thinking if Village Neighbors sends it out as well, the same survey, there may be more chance of getting some things back. Because there's more of a connection there.
we don't.
But that would only be, it would have to be separated by town.
Right, and we remember, I have to have a caution on that because remember what happened with the
Life Path
survey.
Mhm.
People got really confused when they started receiving two surveys. You know, in other words, we sent out a survey and then LifePath sent out a survey and we agreed we wouldn't do that ever again, that we wouldn't
Okay.
cross because because people didn't know which one to do.
Oh, right. Village Neighbors sent out a survey, a paper survey,
Mhm.
and we sent out a survey. That's
Right.
what it was.
Right,
And people were confused about, you
right.
know,
What,
should I do
right.
this one? Should I do that one? Where's it going? Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
so I don't mind if, you know, if we share our, I mean, if Village Neighbors uses a similar survey for the other towns, but not Shutesbury, since we're gonna send it to everybody.
Okay.
That make sense, Jeanette? If, you know, LifePath decided, not LifePath, Village Neighbors, sorry. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what survey Elizabeth is talking about, honestly, at this point. I
Okay.
think she was talking about just maybe a question. I don't know about a survey.
Okay.
I could be
Okay.
wrong about that. So,
I think that's still to be decided.
okay,
So should we move to having Martha present about the survey?
Mhm.
I
Please, yeah.
don't know, I have to say I'm puzzled and a little worried that we haven't heard from Janice.
Okay, but we don't have a way of connecting.
No,
with her.
I'm just voicing,
Yeah,
I'm-
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
just. I'm
And,
just-
and Linda, you had said that we need to get, for our town, the deadline is Friday week, right? The 21st.
The 21st. Martha?
Okay, so working with Janice on this, she set the deadline, but she said there's wiggle room. So, because there are people that she knows that need to put things in that always run in late. So
Yes.
we have a little wiggle room. So,
Okay.
I mean, if we, if need to, I guess we could, reconvene again just to, maybe we can talk about the survey, and maybe it's, maybe there aren't that many questions that the four of us can iron things out, and then
Mhm.
talk to Janice, not waste this time. I'm trying to, sorry, I'm too many emails.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the Susie,
Mhm.
February.
So we're going to go over the survey now, but if there's anything we kind of feel is a little bit off, we can always run it by Janice. Is that what you're saying? And
Mhm.
deadlines are usually good suggestions to get people.
Yes,
On track.
we try to abide by them, but as Martha said, and as I can speak from experience, there are laggards
Mhm.
that have to be reminded.
Right. Here's the, okay. So we all received the,
Yeah, do
I,
I was thinking about how to screen share it.
April 3rd.
Yeah, I printed out a copy. And thank you, Martha and Janice in absentia for working on this. I think you really got the really essential important parts down very well. There's just a few things that bits of information that we can add. Like the address and
okay, this is, all right.
some kind of simple things.
I'm gonna
Okay.
see if I can, I'm gonna see if I can screen share it, if that would help.
Okay.
Janice did the heavy lifting. I was the what is it? The sounding board. I mean, we went over things, but yeah, she got these questions. Then we talked about order, and then the need to be more inclusive, and various things. So, okay.
Well,
If you can't, we could always make Joanne big and she could hold up the piece of paper. Seriously, that would work.
So we had, what was
yeah,
the,
I can't, it won't, for some reason, I can't do it.
So seriously, if we just spotlight Joanne, I think she
Okay.
could hold it up to the screen. It's
Okay.
better than
Okay.
nothing.
Let me do that. I'll spotlight Joanne. Good idea. Spotlight.
Good problem solver.
Okay.
Okay. There I am.
So
There
now
you
we
are.
need the piece of paper.
Higher.
Can you see?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, do you?
That's
remember?
good.
Yeah,
Is it backwards?
No,
no, it's fine.
No?
but you,
Backwards on mine.
can you
Okay.
see it?
So do you or a household member need alternative forms of transportation? And then it talks about last spring, LifePath, our area agency on aging, surveyed people over age 50 and older as part of the Franklin County and North Quabbin Age-Friendly Community Project. Respondents from Shutesbury expressed a lot of interest in having transportation options beyond private cars. Do you want me to continue reading this? Now the town of Shutesbury is reaching out to learn how many residents of any age are in need of transportation and just what they're looking for. To help provide a fuller picture, please clip out and complete this survey by the Select Board and the Shutesbury Council on Aging. Then send it to insert chosen address here or drop it off in the box inside Town Hall. You can also find it on ULR. All right, so number one, could one or
Okay, so we'll stop there for a second,
Sure.
Jeanette. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we had some questions about just sort of the beginning part, right?
Right. What were the questions?
One of the questions
here we go.
I had was about residents of any age. Because
Can you see this now?
the,
Yep.
Now?
oh,
Yes.
yes, we got it.
Thank you.
Okay. I
Thank
got it.
you.
Took me a
Yeah.
bit, but I got it. Okay, go
Uh-huh.
ahead, Joanne.
And we can ask that question, but these programs from FRTA and PVTA are for elders. So the
Can I-
programs we're looking at are for people mostly 60 and above. We can get this information, but I don't know if we can help.
Right, right. So,
Can I respond?
yes, please.
Okay. So the reason why we included of how many residents of any age is because having had the conversations with Tracy
McNaughton.
Right.
McNaughton and recognizing that there may be, as we stated in this, recognizing that there may be, other people such as, the people that she was talking about that needed rides, that could benefit from having rides that weren't actually recognizing that they weren't 60 years and older. And so as the town, we were just, our effort was to try and see how extensive it was, including elders, but also are there people that may also benefit? So to learn. So
Yes,
our-
I think
our
that's good. I
agency-
think that's good. Yeah.
Okay, and so Life Pack and our area agency, let's see, surveyed people of 50 and older and residents, respondents from expressing interest. Yeah, so we wanted to know, yeah, that's why we were trying to be,
Inclusive.
yes, so.
I think that's good information. So
And in
I
the
have no
end,
problem with that.
in the end, we're fact finding, we're looking for data. That doesn't mean we
Yes.
necessarily have to act on everything.
Mhm.
Or maybe there'll be other options that then the town will know the data to help with those other options.
Yes. Okay, the next thing was the address, which Linda's putting in now, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes,
To
Is that
send
the,
the,
okay, yeah. Oh, all
to
right,
s- to
great. So
send,
we can-
to mail this to PO Box, Council on Aging. Okay, send it PO Box 276 Shutesbury, Mass, blah, 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 attention Council on Aging. So that's the address.
Okay, the other thing, we
Um,
had talked about the URL, is that possible? So that people
We're not
could-
there yet.
Okay, sorry.
And there was something about a box in the library, but there's the drop box outside of town hall. Which if people put it in the Dropbox attention COA, we'll get it.
Yeah.
There's also the inside mailbox.
Yeah, right,
in town
right,
hall.
right. Or in the COA town hall box.
Okay, then I reached out to Penny Jakes because she is. It was the Open Space Committee that sent out a survey.
Yes.
And I had talked to her before about when we were pre-Life Path survey, trying to do our own COA survey. And she was very helpful. But it turned out that she knew how to do Survey Monkey, and that's what she was using. And in the previous survey that we were trying to do, we had too many questions to do a free one. So I asked her again, and she is willing to help, but now she said she doesn't know what Survey Monkey is doing at this point. And I spent a lot of time on the Survey Monkey website trying to figure out what they're doing, because there's supposed to be a free version, but I couldn't figure it out. So we don't at this point have an electronic survey, and I think we sorely need one. So if anybody knows how to do that, Jeanette and Martha.
I wonder if we could ask someone like Mary Ann Antonellis.
I think she's got
She doesn't.
hands full.
She
Okay.
doesn't do her own surveys. And Penny said when they did the Open Space Committee survey, someone from FERCog did it for them.
Oh,
So
right. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, because
So-
they contracted with FERCog to help them with the open space plan.
yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah.
So I'll continue to follow up with Penny and see if we can get a Survey Monkey, I guess. You're supposed to be able to get a free one, although every time I tried to find that, it sent me to a place of pick how much you want to pay per year, so it's,
Right.
I don't know if it was just me not knowing how to use the site.
It's like the free tax offer where they say, yeah, and then I'll,
Yeah.
Oh.
So we'll try. If anybody else has contacts or ideas about that, please follow up with it, and I'll keep trying. There may be other people in town we can contact who know how to do this.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
I never like to throw anybody under the bus, but someone like Meryl, who is really wonderful with IT kind of stuff. If it's just a kind of a quick question, she might
Oh, okay.
be willing to put her 2 cents in.
Okay,
Maybe.
sure. I can contact Meryl. Yeah.
Okay.
I have
And
a direct line through Gary, my husband.
Oh, great. And,
Recycling. Yeah.
I know I'm being recorded, so I can't say, don't tell her that I said it, but she's
Okay.
wonderful.
Okay, I'll ask Meryl. Yeah. I think, Linda, you suggested Gail Fleischacker too as the
Mhm.
person who might
Okay.
help.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then I think there was only one suggestion that I had in looking at this, which was to move number one, could one or more residents in your household use some help with transportation? And then to move number 6, what are the ages of the residents in your household needing transportation, to the number 2 position? So following on, could one or more residents in your household use some help? And what are the ages of the residents in your household needing transportation?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
Okay.
and the reason why we put could one or more residents in the household, there may be more than one person that needs transportation for different reasons.
Right, yeah. Okay, and then, so is that okay with moving that to number 2 position?
That makes sense. Sure,
Okay,
thank you.
and then the towns that residents need to go. That's self-explanatory. The reasons that, medical appointments, grocery shopping, COA only did med rides, so I'm not sure what other, like what the village neighbors drivers do for people beyond med rides and grocery shopping.
I
Or
mean,
what?
it's mostly that. I mean, I don't think people use it too frivolously. I think they,
Right,
it's not like although I could be wrong about that. And we do also do third party rides too. So like if you have somebody helping you with something, but they can't get to your house, we'll actually pick that person up and drive them. I don't know that it happens often, but it's, the third party ride. I get the
Mhm.
impression most people use it for doctors. Martha, you do a
Mhm.
lot of driving
Mhm.
for the most part. It's not like I just want to go out to lunch. Although,
Mhm.
what's wrong with that? In fact, I plan when we finally have this transportation, we are all going out to lunch.
All right.
Can I say-
Linda?
No, Martha, did you,
So the reason why we put other is, again, kind of going back to Tracy McNaughton's discussion of, people may just
Mhm.
want to go to, I don't know,
Bowling, she mentioned specifically, like these young people who have made connections with each
Mm.
other, and then the kids here are completely shut off.
right. I mean,
Mhm.
or just, somebody going to, I don't know, Chili's or something for lunch, but yeah.
Mhm.
As I think about this, I wonder if we're going to get people responding, teenagers who want to get into town will be responding to this.
Right. I want to ride back at 2 a.m. Friday night.
Yeah,
Right.
been there, done that, yeah. Okay, well, others should cover that then, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And the only other comment I had was about on number 5, the can't get there from here.
Sounds like a Maine expression. Or can't see
Yeah.
can't see Alaska from my window.
Right,
That's a little bit of
I
Yankee.
can,
But at the
right,
same
yes.
time, how are they getting there? They may not be getting there at all. I mean, I
Right.
think that's
so could we change
Okay.
that to say not able, not something like not
Not able to.
not able, not able to get where I need to go. I don't know. I guess can't get there from
Something
here
like
is
that.
good enough, but yeah.
okay.
so are we
Um,
changing?
No, I think we're gonna just leave it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll bring a smile,
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. It's a little,
yeah,
yes,
It makes-
okay.
a little lighthearted there.
Mhm. Okay, and then the special medical equipment is self-explanatory, so,
Yeah, this is so good. I really appreciate Martha and
Yeah.
Janice for their time.
Yeah, because that's the one thing that Village Neighbors is really coming down kind of fairly rigorously on, that we won't take people in a wheelchair. Because so much of our drivers, they're over 60 themselves, and hoisting a
Mhm.
wheelchair around, it's just been kind of
Right.
like, nope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when we had our MedRide program, no, absolutely no,
Really?
absolutely no
Mhm.
Okay,
No.
that's good to know.
liability.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was, people have to be ambulatory,
Mhm.
right.
they have to be able to get to the car and back to their
Mhm.
house.
Right.
Because, the drivers are not trained with helping people physically,
Right.
helping people,
And you could get hurt, the driver can get hurt, and all they're trying to do
or
is
the
drive
or the
somebody.
driver can inadvertently hurt someone,
Yes.
so, and that's all liability issues, so,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
Okay, well, I think this is great. Thank you, Martha, so much for doing
Oh, you're
this,
welcome.
and with Janice. And
Janice.
so Janice, I think we'll do the layout,
Mhm.
right, Linda,
Yes,
in
yes,
our town.
she'll figure out how it will all fit in. Yes.
Mhm.
So-
And then the only missing piece is to try and find a way to do a survey electronically.
Right.
So, I'll contact Penny again. She may have been able to figure out the Survey Monkey thing by now. And I'll ask Meryl. And Jeanette,
Yeah, can I just ask a question, like, being a COA, we're kind of part of the town? Is there any chance that we could ask someone like maybe Grace, or is that just not their purview? Like, we're
it's
who
not-
we are.
I can just say that the staff in town hall does all the best they can to manage and
What they have already.
what they have already regarding
Sure.
IT and any kind of,
Mhm.
yes, tech stuff. There's, no capacity there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you for asking, but there, we don't have, we don't have anybody, we have to, the town, if we have any computer issues or something, we have to generally hire somebody to help.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, so it's all like us, volunteers.
right.
Martha?
Can you, please just resend this to us? Can you do that?
Yes, after,
After the meeting? That's
I'm
fine.
going to stop sharing. If we're done, I'm going to stop sharing this now and then I'll save it and afterwards and send it out to everybody.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Whew.
okay. So is this the only thing that the Council on Aging has going into our town? Is this survey, or is there other information that we need to put forward?
I believe it's
I
just,
did see that Maura Healy, oh dear, where'd it go? Maura Healy is extending the SNAP benefits to a certain percentage. I think it's 40% of the extension. So there was an extension to the SNAP benefits
Yeah,
and it stopped. It stopped now. The last payment was in April of the extended SNAP benefits. But Maura Healy has put aside some money to increase the original amount of SNAP benefits by 40% of what the extension was supposed to be. I'll find it. I thought I wrote it down. I'll find the
So does that 40% pertain to time, like extension of
let-
time, or?
I'll have to find it and send it to you. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't,
Mhm.
or I can't find it. It was in the MCOA,
yeah, yeah.
Linda, one of the MCOA things.
It was,
So
go ahead.
no,
the
so I
question-
mean,
the question-
that is information that people might need.
Okay, so what we're
Right.
talking about now is whether we want an additional article in the newsletter.
Mhm.
And,
Right.
and, I guess, right, that's, other than that, I don't think we have anything else, timely to
Mhm.
include. Unless anyone can think of anything. I mean, the survey is really a big piece and
Mhm.
there is a space issue as well. I don't know,
Okay.
yeah, there's
I
that.
would,
I
would,
I would
sorry.
hope that the people receiving SNAP benefits would have received this information.
that's what I was gonna say. Don't you think that the town would be, that it doesn't necessarily just need to be the
Yeah.
COA pointing this out, but rather everyone, because it's not just people 60 and
Right.
over.
It'll be in
potentially.
the newsletter and
Okay.
recipients will be getting, they'll be getting information. Because I
Yeah,
remember
okay.
seeing in one of the MCOA emails that the state was going to be sending out information for people. Lots of,
Okay.
like public PA, whatever you call those, public service announcements kinds of things for people.
yes,
Right, yeah.
Um,
Martha?
I have one question. Do we, how long will we be accepting results for the survey? Do we want a timeline on it at all?
Oh, good question.
Mm,
Whoa,
Mhm.
yes, so that is, yeah, we should put that in there. Please respond, please submit your response by.
The other thing that Martha, I just thought of when you said that is, town meeting is the 3rd of June, is that right?
Mhm.
We, you know, the table with all the papers, I mean, we could have copies of the survey at town meeting for people to pick up.
Mhm.
And maybe while
Um,
they're sitting, they could do it, and you might get more data than you might have, because papers have a
Right.
way of disappearing.
Yeah.
Quick, okay, so the due date for the newsletter is the 21st. That means it's probably going to go out sometime in early May. Okay. So, you know, just thinking things through, we don't have Janice here to help us, but I'm just estimating based on experience. So sometime 21st, yeah, I would say, you know, like, you know, maybe by the 2nd week of May. So just in terms of asking people when we want them back, could we say June 30th? Something like
June?
that.
June
June
30th?
30th? Yeah, well.
What
do
if,
you
why don't you say June 3rd? And then people will be like, oh, I'm gonna bring that to the town meeting. Didn't you just say the town meeting? is the
Oh,
3rd?
okay, I see what you mean. Okay, yep.
Or a few days after. What about like the
Mhm.
following Monday after town meeting? Town meeting's generally Saturday.
The
Yes.
people could bring theirs that day, thinking it's, you know,
Right,
let
they
me
could
get
put
that
it
in,
in-
but they could also pick it up and, you know, they'd have a little bit more space. That's a great idea.
They could put it in the Dropbox, and if we
Mhm.
have copies available, then people can fill it out
Mhm.
right then and there and put it in the Dropbox. Good
Mhm.
idea, okay? All right,
So June 5th is the Monday following town meeting on the 3rd that's a Saturday. Does that work?
Mhm.
sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should we change the top part of the thing then to say, or pick one up at town meeting?
No,
No.
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 I just,
Okay.
I said leave it because.
No wiggle room.
right,
Because you get, I mean, I think if people read it and then they're allowed to wait until June, we're not gonna get the responses. So I say just keep it as is and hopefully they'll respond. And if they don't, maybe we'll capture them at the meeting. And also people that have mobility issues who might need these rides the most might not be able to get to town meetings. So
Hmm.
right, so
Yeah.
we'll put it, you know, we'll say respond by June 5. And then by that point, we'll have a sense and, you know, we'll say, okay, if we need to put some at town meeting with a big sign, if you haven't done this already, please do it and put it in the Dropbox today, something like that.
And just a persnickety layout question. Is it going to actually be in the Our Town, or is it going to be a separate piece of paper? Because then how will it look uniform?
Right, so
Mhm.
it
So
will.
it's like, oh, I
be-
did that already.
It will, yeah. Well, okay, here's the thing. It will be in our town.
Mhm.
And it will be part of our town because because we outsource it,
Cost it.
we
Mhm.
can't have any inserts. And because Janice will have the file, it can look exactly the same. We can just, you know, print it off off the actual newsletter itself, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can have it look no different.
Mhm.
Okay.
But
That
it's a good
helps.
point to confuse people, you know, by
Uh-huh.
having it, yeah.
It's like that life path survey, or, you know, that extra thing,
Mhm.
like, what? Life path actually really asked us to do that. I just want to reiterate that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes, and we understand, it just,
Mhm.
as we know, it confused people.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just have to say it's 5:46 and
Mhm.
I feel like everything else we would want to carry over programming. The question of whether to resume foot clinic in town hall, the legislative update, because Susan isn't here. I can tell you just quickly, the MCOA survey, they were looking for information about programs that COAs provided or didn't provide for the LGBTQ plus community. And of course, I responded on our behalf and basically, said that we don't have a senior center, we don't have staff, and that we would collaborate with, on a regional level for programs through our area agency on aging. So I just wanted to say I did that. And in case you don't know that the annual drug take back day is going to be on the 22nd of April from 10 to 2 and the Wildwood School in Amherst, if you are interested. And the other thing is that one thing we'll follow up on at our next meeting, if we haven't heard anything, is that the Life Path team, the Life Path age-friendly team, has been making visits to towns. And as far as I know, we haven't been visited yet. Jeanette?
They're actually having a presentation that'll be held at Munson Street that people can sign up for. I'm not quite sure where the info for that is, but I think they're going to be finally presenting in like a larger forum. I'll try to find that or find my source for that and eventually send it to you, and you can decide how to disseminate that.
Okay. Yes, because they also said they've been visiting towns. They visited 16 towns already and plan to visit every town that that is identified as an age-friendly community. So if we haven't heard anything by May, then maybe we can follow up with them. Or anyway, those are just a few. Yes, Martha.
Where is Munson?
Munson Street. Munson Street in Greenfield.
town? Oh, okay.
Greenfield. That's where Life Path is. As we finish up tonight, I just want to mention that Village Neighbors is going to be having an event at the Shutesbury Athletic Club on May 21st. And my sense is that the COAs are invited. So if you want a nice lunch, free lunch, and there'll hopefully be music, even if it's me playing piano, and some raffle baskets and some new things. So our annual board meeting is from 12 to 1, and that is from 1 to 3, and you are invited. And boy, would Elizabeth Fernandez O'Brien love it if you RSVP'd.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, are we good? Since
We
we're
are.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
So move.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
And do we need to go through?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Bernhard, aye.
Bye.
Scott, I. Sorry.
And Stockton, I.
Okay. Thank
Mateys.
you, everybody. Thank you. And so we meet again on May 10th.
Okay.
Okay.
Great,
Okay.
5:51. All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you again, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye all. Have a
Bye.
good